Okay, let's talk about Franz Bardon and Hermetics and the Hermetic method of harmonizing the astral body. This is done through working the elements, and many of you will be very familiar with this, working the elements, becoming familiar with them, and then loading them into their respective regions of the body. And when done, this allows for an equilibrium of the astral body, and this allows for a freedom to occur, a type of equanimity or magical equilibrium to occur. Now, this is the beginning, okay? So this harmonizes it and you get a little bit of freedom, a little bit of equanimity. And often we'll look at the placement of these elements, these pillars that create a stability for the quietude of the inner temple. We'll look at it as a static thing. Build these elements, load them into their regions, and this is a static thing in many practitioners' minds. And what we want to move towards is experiencing this equanimity, this equilibrium, this stillness as a more and more all-encompassing experience, all-encompassing reality, to the degree that being in equanimity allows for a constant fluctuation and dance of the elements, because we are not identifying with them in their individual nature or in how they might form collectively into different types of emotions or thought forms, etc. The equanimity allows for the dance of the elements to occur. And this dance, part of this, takes us right into the akasha as the elements are swirling and moving over themselves, and we allow for this free movement. This in and of itself is an expression of that magical equilibrium, of that equanimity, of that stillness. So that quietude, that inner peace, if we are dependent upon stillness of the elements, then we are subject to very, very precise conditions that allow for equanimity that allows us to reside in a space of freedom and equanimity. But if the elements can move and we are not attached to them, now the types of fluctuations that we can encounter, well, that's everything, and we can still have access to a very, very deep quietude and peace in the presence of shift and movement. And this is the whole dichotomy of movement and stillness. And in the beginning, we enforce stillness, right? So we subjugate movement and we try to enforce stillness. Through enforcing stillness, we start to realize that there's more and more and more that's moving. The more still we become, the more we can tune into and perceive the subtle movements, subtle energetic movements, the subtle movements that are occurring. Then through realizing just how much subtle movement there is occurring around us and in us and through us, from that, then we start to tap into a deeper type of stillness, a stillness that's not enforced, that's not imposed. We start to recognize a stillness that exists as a part of all of the movement, subtle and gross, that is occurring. So, hope you enjoyed this. Maybe it was some food for thought. All right, thanks for your time. Bye.